Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So happy Saturday. But today, I know Bitcoin is still stagnant, but I believe a big move is coming. So let me talk about what's going on with Bitcoin. Also, a little bit about Cardano as well. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin, like I said, is stagnant. A lot of people, losing interest, losing faith. That's just not the right call. This is not the time to be losing interest or faith in Bitcoin. Okay, just yesterday I had a neighbor ask me, why is Bitcoin down from 31.6? Why is it down roughly like 9%? And I said, it happens. It happens. Sometimes, oops, I didn't change my screen. Sometimes Bitcoin goes down. Sometimes it's stagnant, right? And that's okay. People tend to forget how fast things move when they move. Because if you look at where we are right now, look at this. Look at this. Back in June, just a couple months ago, Bitcoin was sitting at 24,800, right? So why is no one talking about that? In 2 months, Bitcoin went from below 25,000 to 29,000. And if you go back a little bit more, well, Bitcoin was all the way back here, below 20,000 mid-March, right? That was only 5 months ago. And if you go back a little further, in the beginning of the year, Bitcoin was at 16,000, okay? So short-term volatility happens. Sometimes Bitcoin is boring. Sometimes it doesn't move like everyone wants it to, okay? But Bitcoin only gets stronger, and over time, with the diminishing supply, with increasing demand, right, the price follows. But, it doesn't always move that quickly all the time. But if you look at what's been happening since the beginning of the year, we have these great price pumps, and then we get a little bit of a pullback, right? Both times, and then we continue back up. But this next point, just 31.6, is an important mark. I've mentioned that before. Seems to be a pretty strong resistance, but we'll see. We will see when this next leg is coming, and it could be right around the corner, and I'm going to explain why. But first, look at this headline. BTC holders outperformed crypto funds by 69% in the first half of this year. That's amazing and pretty obvious too, because Bitcoin has been so strong. We know a lot of altcoins, some have started gaining a little momentum, but overall, Bitcoin has been the one that's been recovering. Beginning of the year, Bitcoin was at 16,000. You look at where it is now, it's almost doubled, right? But if you look at a lot of altcoins, they have not gone up equally, right? And alts are usually weak. If you look at, the past, you look at previous cycles, alts are usually weak during like the first phase of recovery, but they get really strong in the second half, in the latter half of the bull run, and so that's not unusual. Okay, so these crypto funds are populated with usually a little bit of Bitcoin and a lot of Ethereum and other alts. That's why they have not done so well. But again, this is a reason why, a good reminder why everyone should have a decent amount of Bitcoin in their portfolio, because there are many people that come into the space. They say, oh, Bitcoin's too big or it's too expensive. I'm going to just load up on a lot of meme coins, like someone's asking about sheep, right? But it's important to have Bitcoin, because there will be many periods where Bitcoin just leads the way. It will be stronger than others, and that's perfectly normal, right? And we got another project, another company, I should say, that is getting involved in their Bitcoin SPY ETF. Looks like they were denied before by the SEC. Now they're getting in. I lost count, but we have like nine different applicants now, right? All waiting to be approved in March of next year, right before the halving event. And this is This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be really fantastic. I also saw this. Edward Snowden. I'm not sure he's considered a BTC expert, but he is definitely a big advocate of Bitcoin, believes Bitcoin is freedom, is the truth. And he'll be speaking at the Amsterdam conference later this year. Interesting. Bitcoin is free money. When I think about liberty, that is what this is all about, is freedom from permission. I agree. Interesting. But as for this next leg up, this big move, right? There's just a lot of charts that's indicating it. Besides the diminishing supply, right, and increasing demand, we know that's happening. And the fundamentals of Bitcoin, including the address count, the holders, the exchange reserves dropping, all these things continue to go upwards. The hash rate continues to go all-time high, like it seemed like every single week, right? Same thing with the number of addresses, the number of holders, the number of everything BTC held, right? But if you're looking at short term, I mentioned about boringness, there may be some volatility, but a lot of technical analysts are looking at patterns and signals, and here's one of them. If you look at what happened at the beginning of the year, right? January 2023, after that nasty FTX crash, that was pretty much the end of the last crypto winter, right? We were stagnant for a while, sideways movement around 16,000. That time was no good at all, and that was for a couple months. The crash was like in November, and then we didn't see any movement until like the very end of January. So around that time was definitely scary. A lot of people tuned in and was losing hope, and people were still spewing out that we were going to drop to 12,000 and 10,000 or wherever it may be, right? But you know what? That was the bottom, and then we start recovering, right? But when you recover, it's never just a linear upwards. There will be up and downs, and you could definitely see this trend line, right? So we're still following that. We're about to hit it, right? So you can make the argument that this next leg up is definitely coming right around the corner. So that looks pretty good. And also here's one too that shows all these, what is it, flag pulls or whatever you call it. No, these are not flag pulls. They're, I forgot the technical term for these. It's a descending channel. Yeah, something like that, descending channel. But anyways, again, if you draw a line, it'll be the same thing. It'll basically show this, that we are hitting this trend line, and of course we're forming higher lows and we're forming higher highs. And when we break out, who knows where Bitcoin will be. Maybe the next leg up will bring us to close to $40,000, and then maybe we come down a little bit from there, right? And it just continues forward and it trends forward. It's all programmed in, right? And as we get closer and closer to the halving event, we're going to get closer and closer to the previous high. And then afterwards, that's when we break out and we head to a new high, wherever that may be. 150,000, 200,000, 250,000, right? It's programmed in. It happens every single cycle. It doesn't happen right away. It takes time to win. The name of the game when it comes to Bitcoin or any investing really is patience. Have patience. That's really it. But yeah, I'm as bullish as ever, but I could tell people are getting bored. They're constantly asking me, why is Bitcoin not breaking out, right? But there's certain times that this happens, right? And we have seen many times this year already where we're just not doing anything, going sideways, right? Until we get a big explosion up. And we had a couple catalysts to help with that, and we'll probably get a couple more later this year and early next year for sure as we get to the halving event and beyond, right? So it's coming, guys. It's coming. Now, I did mention, besides Bitcoin, I did mention about Cardano, right? Cardano also has been pretty stagnant, but it's still holding in the top 10, right? So a lot of people love Cardano. I did see that Cardano, basically, they have a lot of things going on, but they posted the state of Cardano Q2 of 2023, right? And there's a lot of activity, increased activity all around. And they're constantly working with other dApp makers to improve their side chain and interoperability and everything, right? But if you're looking at activity, like for example, compared to Ethereum, much, much higher, 3x the development activity of Ethereum if you're measuring right now, right? And you can see there's just a lot of stuff happening. According to IOHK, 136 projects launched, 1,271 projects building overall. You got 8.6 million native tokens, 72.7 million transactions, right? There's just a lot of things going on. AI is predicting with all these things going on that ADA will pump to 50 cents by September, which would be what? Which would be, I don't know, almost 50%, more than 50%, like 60% gain going into September. We'll see if AI is accurate. I have asked Bard about this, and it also said 50 cents, so we'll see if that is correct. But, regardless, there's a lot of things being worked on in Cardano, right? Also, with their Mithril protocol, this makes it more lightweight and easier for dApps to come out with lightweight projects, and everything's a little bit faster. So Cardano, just like Bitcoin, can be very stagnant, can be very boring, but there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, a lot of activity, a lot of building. So those are all great, great things. And speaking of Ethereum, Ethereum's quiet time should not be taken for weakness. Yeah, I think a lot of people overlook Ethereum at this point, but Ethereum is still the big daddy of smart contracts, of L1s, right? They are not going away anytime soon. The market cap is basically essentially half of Bitcoin at this point, 1,800. Not too bad. Earlier this year, we were close to 1,000, so it's been doing pretty well so far this year, but I think it'll continue to do well. You still have a lot of activity from NFT projects, for new tokens coming out, right? They're still working on, obviously, after the upgrade, it's become deflationary, but also they're working on a lot of other new things, including scaling and so forth, right? There's just a lot going on. And recently, there's been a lot of ETF talk. Ethereum ETFs are also coming. A lot of asset managers, look at this headline, 7 are applying for Ethereum futures ETF. First things first, future-based ETF, then spot ETF, right? But it's also coming. Since Ethereum is declared a non-security, right? According to CFTC, it's a non-security, it's a commodity. So futures ETF, or even a spot ETF, should be approved in the near future. So all good things. And lastly, I saw this. X, which aka Twitter, debunks this. I guess there's a scam token thing going on. Okay, but Elon did say that, basically confirmed that X will never have a crypto token. So you can see Elon Musk and X never launch a crypto token. Be careful of such articles as scam articles. And then he responded, and we never will. Okay, so this confirms that X will never have its own token. But what about integrating Doge? Is Doge coming? What about crypto wallets, right? People are still wondering when those things will happen. Still waiting. Maybe soon, maybe never, right? But I still think he's going to do something with Doge. I mean, you could even use Doge to pay for things in Tesla's, accessories page or whatever. So I think It is being worked on, but there are more pressing matters at X right now, including getting revenue up and monetization up and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it may take some time. All right, that is pretty much it. Someone asked about why is she pumping. I really don't know. It could be because yesterday or the day before I was talking about Binance. Binance is listing SHIB as collateral, so I don't know if it has something to do with that, or Bone is being considered, or people are speculating Bone is being considered by Binance as well. And they still have their Shibarium. It could be due to those things. So I don't know. I don't know the exact reason. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see. Happy Saturday, everyone. Jamie, hola, do you think taking $55,000 from an IRA, transferring to ITrust, and doing one BTC 10 Gs to Cardano and the rest is something else a good idea? Well, I can't give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so you make your own decisions. But I will say, I mean, ITrust has been reliable for all these years, right? I know many people use them for their IRA. And if you're considering of using your IRA and putting them into crypto, right, they would be the place to do it at. But hey, you got to decide. You got to decide what to do with your money. It also depends on, I would think, a lot of factors. Crypto is volatile, right? So if you're older and you're depending on, you're depending on that money for, for retirement or for, later, for access later. So it depends on your age and what your risk tolerance is, how much you can, how much do you have outside of that? I mean, there's many factors, right? So you go talk to your financial advisor or you decide. Someone's asking, why is helium slowly going up? I don't know. I've heard a lot of bad things about helium recently, so I've not kept up with it. Ever since they moved, they're kind of forced to move to Solana. It's been kind of iffy, and then people say that there's no support on the miners. So I don't know. They're up 4%, but overall this year they have not been doing well. This last year, they're down from $9 down to $2, so they're not recovering that much. They were at the bottom of 120 something. Yeah, so they got a long way to go. They got a long way to go. And at their peak, they were at $55. That's crazy. That's crazy. They had to do a 20x or 30x to get back to their previous high. Yeah, this could take a while. T Sports, I don't know what project that is, and stop doing at CryptosRus. What about Pepe? I have not checked Pepe in a while. Last time I checked, it was like 500 million market cap. Is it? It's a little bit lower, 450. I mean, today out of the meme coins, Doge didn't move 1%. Today it has to be SHIB. SHIB is the only one that's moving good today from the meme coins, I think. 11%. Now it's taking a little dip. I think it's due to the Binance thing. I think yesterday or the day before, I talked about SHIB was being added as collateral for Binance. You could take a loan against it. I don't advise that, but you could, because something like SHIB could be moving up and down very quickly. You don't want to, your collateral to be liquidated. But that could be it. And there's rumors about Bone being added to Binance too. So, and it's going to be the gas token for Shibarium too. Following history and percentages, it goes up each time from previous all-time high. Where do you see Bitcoin next all-time high getting to at a minimum? See, there's diminishing returns, right? Every time Bitcoin goes upwards, there's diminishing returns because, the overall dollar value of Bitcoin is much bigger, right? So it's not going to go up the same way. Like if I recall from memory, like the first pump was like 3,000-ish%, right? And then it was like, no, it was like 20,000%. Then it was like 3,000%. Then it was like 600 or 700%. So this time around could be less. Could be like 300 or 400%. But, who knows? Some people think that the minimum Bitcoin will be around like 90 or 100,000, which I think is very, very conservative considering we were at 69,000. But I think realistically we'll see maybe around, 125, 150. I think that's probably a good, good guess. But who knows? We could be much higher than that. We could hit 200, 250,000. Kathy Wood, ARK Invest thinks that Bitcoin will be at 1.6 million by 2030. So that's the next, the next cycle afterwards. But in order for it to get to 1.6 million, I mean, it has to be pretty darn high this cycle. How long till AI model creates its own coin? Well, Doug, when we have sentient AI beings, I'm sure they'll launch a token. Until that time, probably not. A lot of people talking about Elon going to SHIB conference in Canada. Have you heard about it? No, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. He has not once come out and said anything good about SHIB. And I thought he would. They're the same dog. But not once has he mentioned SHIB or talked about it or displayed a picture. He's sticking with Doge. So, yeah, I just don't see that happening. We are just 1% away from the Fed's targeted rate of 2%. Can we expect rate cuts soon? I would say the first half of 2024. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think in September, he's just going to say, Powell's going to say, let's just hold. And then next year, we'll get a rate hike. That's why I think next year could be so good. You're going to have rate cuts, okay? You're going to have the halving event, and you're going to have spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. That's the trifecta right there. That's all going to happen in Q1 of next year. It's going to happen. So next year, I think it's going to be super, super bullish. AD injured his hand, signing extension. I don't know what's going on with AD. I have no idea what's going on with him. What do I think about Yo-Yo is asking about crypto casino projects? I mean, crypto makes sense. A lot of people who got into Bitcoin early were like poker guys, gambling guys. But the thing is, it's like, gambling is still frowned upon in a lot of countries, a lot of jurisdictions. A lot of people just do not like it, right? So it's always going to be somewhat taboo, and I don't know. So it is what it is. But I just don't see like a crypto gambling project getting huge because of those reasons. It could do well, and if you want to play with it, play with them, sure, it's fine, go ahead. But yeah, I just don't see them ever getting huge because there's just going to be too many regulatory issues that's going to happen. Can you do a deep dive on advice for people that are soon to be dealing with life-changing gains? I will definitely do so when the timing is better. Not right now. I'm talking about life-changing gains right now, not the best time. But when Bitcoin breaks through its all-time high and people are looking to take profits, and they'll be looking for more guidance on what to do with their newfound wealth, I will definitely provide more of that down the road. I mean, aren't we slightly gambling now? No. Investments are not supposed to be gambles. I get your point, though. I mean, everything's a gamble, really. But, yeah, it's, you know, with investing, there's strategies. But primarily, I think it's just having patience, doing the homework, and not falling for FUD. If you can master those things, right, you'll do just fine. You want to make a friendly bet that Elon is going to the ETH conference. Which one? There's ETH conferences all over. Are you talking about the SHIB one? I don't think Elon is interested in attending any ETH conference or the SHIB conference in particular. So I'll make a friendly bet that he's not going to go. I just don't. He has too much on his mind. And I don't know. Like, the only possible reason he would ever attend a ETH conference would be if he's trying to learn more about, like, wallets or something. Like, and he wants to build it into X, you know, something like that. But then again, he wouldn't. I mean, he's probably more concerned about that fight with Zuck. You know, he's training MMA right now, right? Like, I don't know when that fight is going to be, but I will definitely be watching it. Floor labor. Appreciate that super chat. Do you think it is possible we do not see the same kind of upward move we did in 2020, 2021? No. I do think we will see it. And the stars are aligning. I mean, just look at it. We just came off one of the worst and prolonged downtrends for crypto. One of the worst crypto winters we've ever had. And Bitcoin is still hovering where it is now, around $30,000, right? We have done, I mean, that is pretty bad, okay? The prolongedness of that is longer than any previous down cycles. So we've lived through black swan events. We lived through a lot of these projects falling. Someone like Luna also crashing. And despite everything else, we found the bottom around 14, 15K. We have come up almost double from that point, right? And we are heading into the latter half of this year and 2024, which I think 2024 is going to be fantastic in so many ways. And from a macro perspective too, it's going to be really, really good. The U.S. will have rate cuts. The U.S. economy is still strong. And I think we will see a huge recovery in all markets in 2024. And then you align that with the halving event. You align that with the very first Bitcoin spot ETFs. I mean, it's going to be I think 2024 is going to be absolutely fantastic. But right now, we're just going to see a slow, steady trend upwards to the end of this year. I think it's going to be really good. Really good. Can Doge scale enough to be used as a payment system on Twitter? Unfortunately, Doge is pretty slow. But, you know, Doge could actually take advantage of Lightning Network. Because I know Litecoin can. If Litecoin can, then Doge should be able to. Maybe one day that can happen. They can integrate and be used on a Lightning Network. Right now, no, but maybe that can happen in the future. The game. Stop asking me to look at Pepe's chart, man. When it comes to meme coins, don't try to chart it. It's not going to work. It doesn't move like a normal project. It moves based on hype and FOMO. Okay, so don't try to chart Pepe and expect to, you know, profit off of that. That's not going to work. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good one. Overall, you know, Bitcoin may be boring, but know that it has made tremendous moves already this year. And the next big one, I believe, is around the corner. I know I've been saying that for a while, but what does around the corner mean? Who knows? It could be tomorrow. It could be this weekend. It could be next week. It could be next month, but it is coming. We are getting closer and closer to the halving event, which is going to be fantastic for Bitcoin. So stay strong, my friends, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Monday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, my usual streaming schedules now that I'm back. All right? Have a good one. Take care.